Well, welcome again to Introduction to Hermeneutics. I wanted to kind of give you a little bit of an overview of your Blackboard content and all of that, so you can kind of be prepared as we go through this course. Over here on the left side, hopefully this is where you're at, the home page. It should look something like this. If it doesn't, you can contact me and say, hey, my Blackboard doesn't look anything like that. And then I'll see if I can figure out what to do or where to direct you so that you can get it looking like this. But anyway, the home page is pretty self-explanatory. But under the home page link, you'll find the Introduce Yourself. Here's the first link that you're going to actually use in this course. And unfortunately, there wasn't a way to rearrange the hierarchy of these items. The one you're going to be looking for at the very beginning is this one down here at the bottom entitled Introduce Yourself. So I'm going to go ahead and pretend I'm you and click on that. And so when I do, this comes up. And it tells you to introduce yourself, to kind of write a brief blog about who you are. Tell us a little bit about yourself. It's very informal. There's no grade for that, but it just lets you communicate to the class who you are and a little something unique about yourself. And the way you'll do that is you'll come up here and you'll click on this Create a Blog entry, and then you'll have to fill out your title and all of that. Or if you've got something you'd like to attach, if you've written it in Word or something like that, you can attach the file here and then come over here, save the entry as a draft, or post the entry if you're ready to go ahead and post it. I'm going to cancel that because I don't want it showing up on your screen. All right, so that's basically how you introduce yourself. Now, under the Introduce Yourself link, you'll find the instructor info, and here's where I tell you a little bit about myself. There I am in all my glory, so never mind that. Then underneath that, you'll find the syllabus. In the syllabus link, you'll find, first of all, the syllabus and the course map. You've got the Hermeneutics course map that you'll download once you click on that, and then actually the syllabus itself. The link is right there. Hopefully you already have your textbooks. There are two of them in this course: Grasping God's Word, that's the Duvall and Hayes book, and then also the Hubbard book, Introduction to Biblical Hermeneutics, by Hubbard, Blomberg, Klein, and Eckelberger. So if you do not have those, you will want to get those as soon as possible because you'll be using those very quickly. Let me look here at we'll go ahead and look here at the course map briefly so I can kind of explain a little bit of that. Each week you'll have the weeks here, the reading assignments for the week, and then over here the actual assignments, the to-do items, the general discussion board, and then also the What Does This Passage Mean paper. Those are all the things that are going to be due this first week. Then likewise, the second week, you'll have each of those items as well. You'll notice that you don't have an exegesis assignment every single week. In fact, it's not till week 3 or week 2 that you have exegesis blog 1, and then you actually have the exegesis project. Yeah, you have exegesis exercises 2, and then exegesis project blog number 2 is on week 3. So the numbers can be a little bit confusing. You have exegesis exercises. You're going to have 2 of those as well in week 4. You don't have them until the start of week 3. That's what I was trying to say. These exegesis exercises, they start in week 3. The 2 means that you'll have 2 of those exercises during this week. The exegesis blog, project blog, is different than the exegesis exercises. So you will have done an exegesis project blog in the second week and one in the third week, and so on and so forth. But the exegesis exercises, you'll do 2 of them in week 3, you'll do 2 of them in week 4, you only do 1 of them in week 5, you do 2 of them week 6, 1 of them in week 7, and 1 in week 8. So hopefully I didn't muddy that up too much for you. But basically, if you just read along, you'll be fine with that. So that's the course map. Now then, the actual syllabus itself. Um, Long awkward pause. Yeah, the actual syllabus itself should look like this when you download it. Um, it gives you general instructor class information, course description. Teresa Moody is the online secretary, so if you have questions, and for whatever reason, if you need an answer faster than when I've been able to give it to you, Teresa is an excellent help or excellent resource. But I'd encourage you to contact me first because Teresa has a lot on her plate as well, being the secretary for all the online programs. So shoot me an email first, and then if it's not timely enough for you, feel free to follow up with Teresa. But the course description, the study of the principles of biblical interpretation, focusing on the application of principles and methods. Here are the basic objectives and indicators. We have essentially 3 of those, and I won't insult your intelligence by reading that to you. You can do that. The course prerequisites, there are none, so you're in good company if you're here, regardless of what your background is. You'll notice that there are 3 texts. I mentioned 2 texts earlier, sort of the unstated, but the assumed is the Bible as our foundational text. And so basically any translation, as long as it's a standard translation, I don't want like a Charles's translation, where if your name's Charles, where you just sort of made your own up. I want it to be something that's recognized, reputable. But anyway, additional recommended texts, I'd encourage you to look at those. They're helpful, and they may come in handy later on as you move on in ministry or life or whatever, if you want to refer back to the things you've learned in this course. Here's the grading scale. It's a standard Midwestern grading scale. Your course projects and assignments. Now, each of these we'll discuss a little bit during each week as they come up, but essentially you have the exegetical project that comes in 8 parts. It's 30% of your grade, so you want to read that kind of carefully as to all of the facets surrounding that. Also, the general discussion boards, they are 20% of your final grade. So be sure that when you're doing the discussion boards, that you do answer the question, but also notice that you're to follow up responses as well to other students. That's going to be a critical part. A lot of times students will make an initial post, but then they will fail to follow up with other students. And so that's a fundamental part of the learning process where you're in a group setting, and we want to try to supplement the online aspect as much as possible with the understanding that you're also part of a learning community. So exegesis exercises, there are 9 of those, and I kind of mentioned earlier, they're stacked, sometimes 2 a week, sometimes only 1 a week. So you want to check your course map for details on that, but you'll see these are the passages that you'll be doing those over. So some weeks, like I think the 1 week you do Romans and Mark, so those would be 2 of those exegesis exercises in 1 week. And so you'll see those are the passages you'll be covering. Also, we have something relatively new. We've done it now a couple of years, contextualized application assignments. And this is where essentially you're, rather than just responding to a standard discussion board to everyone, you're actually doing assignments that are specifically geared toward one of 3 different tracks, either a pastor track, a teacher track, or a scholar track. And so you'll select one of those. I'd encourage you, whichever one you pick, try to stick with that through the course. It's going to be more beneficial for you to do each assignment if you stay within one of those. Now, if you do 1 week and you say, boy, that's just not for me, and you need to switch, I'm open to that. I'm just trying to think of what's going to be in your best interest with respect to that. So if you have any questions on it, let me know. The rest is the general information you find on all of our syllabi at Midwestern, and you'll notice the 50-mile radius policy. If you live within 50 miles of campus, there's an expectation that there would be a time to meet. You can meet one-on-one with a course instructor, a course developer, or academic administrator, or chapel services during the term of instruction. You can come to one of those, or faculty-led student life events, such as the Midwestern Mission Fellowship or Timothy groups, academic lectures, workshops, those types of things. That's just a way of getting you on the campus so that more of a residency type of a feel, at least, sometime during your time, during your course. So that's essentially the syllabus. Back again, over here we have our course content, and we'll look at week 1. Now you notice I only have unit 1 open right now, so to try to keep everyone on the same page as we move forward. Course evaluation you'll fill out before the end of the course, but here if we click on preparing for the interpretive journey, we have here 3 basic sections. You have the darkened in section that will describe the course and give you the objectives of what's going on this week. Under the reading assignments, you'll notice that Grasping God's Word is part of the reading assignment, so you want to read that. But here, if you click on the Chicago Statement of Biblical Inerrancy, when you click on that, it immediately downloads that so that you can read that. And then selected sections of Ralph Elliott's The Message of Genesis. If you click on that, it will likewise download also. Now, it also says to watch, listen to the panel discussion led by Dr. Jason Allen and Ralph Elliott's Message of Genesis. And so you will actually fulfill this when you are down in this section down here. So if you're looking for the link for that, you'll find it in here. And we'll come to that in just a moment. Under the paper, what does this passage mean? Here you've got your basic instructions. What you're looking for is you're going to pick one of these passages, and without using any other resources, write 250 to 500 word paper answering the following question: what does this passage mean? And essentially the goal is to find out, what does it mean to you where you are right now? I mean, I don't want to know what other scholars think it means, or other preachers think it means, or what Matthew Henry's commentary told you it meant. I want to know what you think it means based on your reading of it alone. And because this is the goal of this, is to be a comparison with the end of the course as you follow this passage through, and see how that's changed, how what you think it means now changes by the time you end the course. So that's kind of the goal. So when you click on the "What does this passage mean" link, you'll find the section gives you the due date, Saturday, August 20th, 2016 by 11:59 p.m., so basically by midnight. 100 points are possible. You can write the submission here, or you can write it in Word and just attach it here. My personal favorite is if you write it in Word, save it on your computer, then copy and paste that in here, but nevertheless, whatever is most convenient for you, you feel free to do that. But I would highly encourage you to keep a copy of that. Blackboard is pretty good about not glitching and losing your material, but on occasion that has happened. It hasn't happened in my recent recollection, but nevertheless, safety is always urged with regard to that. So you don't want any kind of a hiccup about, well, I turned that in, well, and there was no record of it on Blackboard, and you don't have anything followed up on that. So always write your work out and save it before you submit it. Then you can add comments here, and then over here you can save it. I mean, you don't have to do it all at one setting. You can be writing and you can save it as a draft, and this will allow you to come back and finish it later. But once you click the submit button, that means you've turned it in to be graded. So just kind of remember the distinction between those two buttons. This one means you can work on it later. This one means it's gone. I mean, you've submitted it. So I'll cancel out of that and try to get us back over here to our course content. Oh yes, my internet runs a little slow here. All right, now down to the Unit 1 module on biblical inerrancy. When you click on that, it will bring you up to this, and it will give you the instruction to read those items that we mentioned earlier. And here you have watch, listen to the panel discussion, and then after performing the required reading and watching, participate in the discussion board responding to the following questions. These are going to be the questions that you're going to address in the discussion board. Now you're looking for a link. You won't find it here because it's actually over here, page 1 of 4. You click that next arrow button, and that's going to take you here, where again you have links as well to those PDFs that we mentioned earlier. Once you're done with that, then you can click to page 3, and on page 3 here is where you're going to find your link to the video of the Elliott controversy. You'll want to allow yourself 56 minutes and 52 seconds so to see it in its duration, so you don't want to just sit down and only have 20 minutes to look at it unless you plan on coming back to look at it more later. And then when you click to page 4, now you come here to the discussion board section. It's already told you what the questions are going to be, and what you want to do is hit the click to launch button, and that will bring you in here. And so you will want to create a thread, and when you create a thread, this will be your answer to these 3 questions, and I would put them in bullet fashion here, corresponding with A, B, and C. But you can also do that on a Word document and attach it if you want down here as well. So then when you're done, you, again, save draft, or if you're ready to submit it, go ahead and click submit. But essentially that is it, and that's kind of how the layout for each of the units is going to be. There are some other items here you can feel free to browse and check out at your leisure, but hopefully this at least gives you a general idea of what we're looking to accomplish in week 1. And if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Again, email me at twilloughby@mbts.edu, and I will get back with you just as quickly as I possibly can. Have a great week, and I will talk to you soon.